Okay everyone, hello, my name is Ninja from Above and welcome to another spooky horror game. Today we're going to be playing The Horns. It's an indie game I found on gamejolt. I have no idea what it's about, except for I know that it's horror based. Let's try it out. I hope it doesn't scare the shit out of me, to be honest with you. Alright, here we go, we got the music playing, okay. Awakening. You are lying on the dirt floor in the dark. You are lying on the dirt floor in the dark. You do not recall how you came to be here. Your body aches and your head throbs with every movement. Ahead, you see a 5-foot rectangular shaped outline and dim purple light. Something glints on the ground by your foot. Do I examine the glint or touch the rectangle? I'm gonna examine the glint. You feel you feel around in the dirt by your feet and find something. Lifting it to your face, you could just make out some sort of key. You now have a rusty key. Before you is a 5-foot rectangular outline of dim purple light. You remember the rectangular outline? Touch it. You hear a metallic rattle. A door, perhaps. Exploring the surface, you feel a slot, a keyhole. You can hear something moving on the other side of the door. Push the door. You shove the door with your hands, then your shoulder. Thump. The door moves slightly but remains firm. You could try using an object. Let's bash the door. You run at the door. Bam! There's a bright burst of pain as your shoulder connects with a metallic clang and the lock bursts. Go through. The door opens easily, allowing a cold, damp breeze to fill the room. Slimy cobbles mark a path leading into the fog towards a distant purple glow. The ground begins to shake. The sound of distant horns fill in the air, echoing around you. It's louder than anything you've ever heard. Listen closely. You resist the urge to scream as your mind fills with a riot of images. Something huge and dark writhing against the white sky. Sorry, I don't know that word. An entire universe carelessly butchered, its bleeding tissues sewn together artlessly. A great stone city endlessly turning with countless eyes staring from its innumerable windows. Then the images fade. Your head throbs. This experience had a cost. Somehow, you know those horns represent your one hope of survival. You must find them. Must. A purple light is getting closer. Then a sound nearby. A footfall? Close. Very close. A movement in the mist. To your right. Something has found you. A figure approaches you out of the gloom. You see a handsome young man. You realize that he too seeks the horns. Wordlessly, he joins you. To the village. You move on towards the horns. The path begins to angle downward as you crest a hill. You can hear the sea somewhere to your left, far off in the gloom. Looking ahead, you can see the outlines of sagging buildings and occasional bright pecks of light. Is it a village? A nearby bonfire burns with the purple flame. You can hear soothing whispers from its glow. Move on. The tree becomes more dense, choking. You scramble through the brush, trying to keep the path in view. You stumble over something. A prism lies on the forest floor. Take it. You now have a dark prism. You move on towards the horns. You come to a squat green building with a tiled roof. The wooden sign nearby is uneven and difficult to decipher. You think it says something about hardware, but it's hard to tell. The windows are covered in a thin layer of slime, a thick combination of algae and dust. Something about the whole building makes you uneasy. Enter. Because I'm that guy. The store's empty shelves are lit by a single candle sitting on the wooden countertop. You hear a series of coughs from the area. Behind the counter, a hooded man stands there silently, his head bowed down. On the counter is an empty cardboard box and a rope. You consider whether to put something in the box or just taking the object. Take it. The hooded man looks up. His face is a ruin, a patchwork of flesh with a raw diagonal slash for a mouth. He grins and gestures at the empty box on the counter. You could try using the object. You place the rope into the cardboard box. You leave the building, closing the door behind you as you go. You glance at the sign you saw on the way. The text is now entirely unintelligible. You do not understand how you read any of it before. Move on towards the horns. A line of terraced houses appears before you. The buildings lean drunkenly to one side. The doors and windows of all but one of the houses have been barricaded with rough wooden boards. The last house's broken windows gape at the air, and its door hangs forlornly from a single hinge. Someone has painted a large triangle on the door using red paint. A warning, perhaps. I'm entering. The cottage's interior is simple, a single ground floor room with a bed and 2 wooden cots and an arch leading to a kitchen. There are 4 kneeling jesters in the center of the room, 2 adults and 2 children. They have been decapitated. Each holds a head that is quite clearly not their own. That kind of scared me a little bit. I jumped. I don't know if you saw that. In the center of the group lies a bottle of dark liquid. Take it. There's nothing more for you here. As you leave, you give a last look back at the cottage occupants. You wonder how events could have led to this scene. The darkness makes it difficult to see any details, but you swear that each disembodied head now stares in your direction. A luminous bird-like terror emerges from the gloom and begins to move towards you. Skulls show potential light loss. Eyes show potential sanity loss. Remove them with items and survivors. Items can be used or thrown. Survivors can fight or distract. Try to remove all skulls, or if you cannot, press one of the buttons below. The handsome young man. He tells you he remembers a job in helping people. Stable. Triangle piece of phone when you peer into it. Potion of concealment. Throw. A cloud of thick smoke escapes you from the bottle, utterly obscuring you from view. Discard the bottle and run. We got away. You flee through the rotten ruins of wooden buildings. The distraction allows you to get away from the terror. You manage to find the path again fairly easy. The handsome young man tells you that part of his memory has returned. He remembers he used to be a psychiatrist. You move on towards the horns. You pass a dilapidated bus shelter. The roof has long since rotted to dust, and the remaining walls are riddled with holes. Sitting on the bench is a man. His features are waxing, his eyes are clouded. Despite his posture, he is clearly dead. As you near his corpse, you see he is holding a shard of glass, its blade flat against his chest. You take the mirror shard. You notice the dead man's skin moves. It flows. Pores and blemishes ripple out from his lips and nose, cascading down his face. You look at his feet and see a widening pool of melted flesh. You stifle a scream and run. You do not look back. Your mind breaks and you begin to scream, clawing at your face as you sink to the ground. You lose consciousness and the darkness rushes in. You did not reach the horns. You became insane after 4 events. At the end of it, you had a single living companion. You lost none along the way. You fought only 1 battle. Play the game again to get more scenarios. Alright guys, well that's it. Everybody, thank you for coming out. Thank you for watching The Horns. If this became a two-part, I'd like to thank you on watching part 1 and part 2. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more content from me, and I will see you guys tomorrow in the next video that is put out. Please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Bye.